we have to get there first. It's a long way away, the number 5 map. It's usually sometimes like a 3. Are you sort of thinking a 3-0 in this one to the Rise Nation team?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say Rise Nation are probably the stronger team here. Looking at the actual group, you know, Brazil 5 stars are 2-0 down and Rise Nation are 2-0 up, but that just might inspire Brazil 5 stars to come fighting back and try and take down the leaders of that group.
Definitely, and hopefully we do want to see a good match. Like as a caster, we always want to see it perhaps even come down to that number 5 map and the golden 11th round, as we sometimes like to call it, down to that side of things. And a few matches are getting underway already this morning. These guys still getting warmed up. Obviously, have to give the teams an allowance to warm up each morning. The still fact is, they've had a big night. They have to try and sleep their way through and get a good rest in before they have to compete once again. Day number 2 here at the Call of Duty Champs. This is
it, and this is something we actually spoke about previously on the streams here, is the fact that this isn't all just about the gameplay and how skillful you are in the game. There's obviously this psychological game going on between the teams, and as you say, you've got to eat well, drink well, and rest well. You've got to be ready and hyped up for these games. You can't be going into them just lazy and tired.
And that's one of the things a lot of people at home don't sort of realise, it is hard as a player, as a caster, as anyone in general at any LAN event. It's just the simple thing is it's hard to get a good rest because on the one side, you want to rest and you want to eat and drink well. The eat and drink well is sort of easy enough, but the resting part is always a difficult thing because, there's so much going on around you. Yeah. You come to an event early, you leave late at night, and it's hard to get a good, a good solid 8 hours, I guess you could say. And if you only get sitting there 4 to 5 hours, it can play a lot on you. Like, if you're used to it, then I guess you're used to it. And I guess a lot of gamers sometimes are because they start really late at night playing the game for all hours and they get up again and do it all over again. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And if you train your body well enough, you can just live off 4 or 5 hours, which we as casters pretty much do a lot of the times.
It is true. I mean, let's go through these maps and game types then that these teams are going to be playing. So the first one, Domination Free. I mean, let's just have a look at this now. We can see the spawn points and the flags here. Let's discuss this a little bit here, Dallas.
Obviously, that A, B, and C flag points. The home flag is what you want to get most of the time around. The B flag is where it's all going to come down. A few different teams, though, they do try and mix it up because the fact they won't go for B right away. They'll just hold off, let the other team force themselves to make a few mistakes perhaps first, and they'll head in for that capture. At the same time, you have to watch out for the underground area of Blue Room, as they sometimes like to push on through there to get that secondary cap and, take out those home flags. Once again, you see them across the board.
Absolutely, and it's exactly like you say, that B flag is so important, and teams don't, they'll push up, but they'll try and get the kills before they go to the capture. They know they need to stay alive due to the respawn delay if they do get taken down.
Of course, S&D on Sovereign is what will be game number 2, and you see where they'll be. Left-hand side is your defense, right-hand side is the attack where they're going to spawn out. The A and B bomb sites. Now, the A bomb site, which you see there, is the more favoured sometimes these days because B also... it's good to get to, but at the same time, I think teams these days are more favouring towards the A for some reason. Personally, I enjoy B. Next up, it will be Blitz on Freight as well, because it'll be game number 3. We may see a game number 4, like we said, or 5, but this is definitely game number 3. The portals is what they're all aiming for to try and get down into and capture points. One bottom Brewery, the other one, of course, located inside bottom Owens, as these guys get set and ready for action in game number 1 on Domination on Freight. And like we said, we are sort of thinking, this might be a game for Rise Nation 3-0, but I really want to see what this Brazilian 5-star team can bring out of the gate.
Oh, absolutely, because as I say, we know a lot about Excellence, but the 3 other players on that team we don't know all that much about. I mean, the Brazilian scene, it's kind of separated from the big American scene, the big French, European scene on the whole. So it's going to be great actually casting over some of these guys, and that's why I want to start off with one of the players on the Brazilian 5-star squad, which is going to be Lee.
Okay, Lee, let's see what he's actually going to be able to do. Obviously, we will bring in the Oracle mode for you all throughout the game. You'll be able to see where the players are coming in and off from. And we'll bring up that overhead map just to see what these guys split out from and just to see how they actually take it. So they will all push through that home flag, but they'll leave one player there. So obviously, as they push through, it's going to help them get that capture increasing time. But like I said, it'll be interesting to see, and no one's really going for B straight away. First block will go to Wells, though, as he picks up H. And, I'm not quite sure who H is. There's Lee in Excellence there. But who is H?
I believe he goes by the name Hanauga. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, or do apologise.
Maybe that's why he just has H, so we don't get it wrong.
Make it easy for us as well. But here we go with Coco Lander now, just getting a great vantage point over B, which has been captured by Rise Nation.
Nice for kick. Coco Lander up high, right there on the crow's nest, coming to the shots on down. He will pick up Wells there as well. It's just going to chill back here for the moment. They do have to get a secondary flag before the enemy team gets too much of a runaway there with some points. Of course, 15, 20 points isn't that hard to come back from. Especially in a small map like Freight, so much slay action does consider and is a massive effect.
Well, Brazil 5 stars, bottom of this group, going up against the group leaders of Rise Nation, who did take out Vitality Rises, one of the best French teams, I've got to say, of all time, in my opinion. A very, very strong side, and this is why we're kind of giving them the edge in this domination.
As we hear if H is getting dropped there, we'll jump on over Excellence now. Coming with this fresh respawn inside of Lumber, looking inside of Red. We can see a few players around that area. He does not, though. Inside he goes. Down he'll get dropped as well. Fall down for a moment there as the boys just picking up some nice kills there with Rise, you know, really clicking it up.
Well, this is it. This is where Weeds can now push in. He's actually just circulating around his home flag, making sure that there's going to be no sneaky pushes on A, but 2 flags in their control, and they're going to be happy with this. They don't particularly need to extend to the C flag.
Fears finally getting his first kill of the game there as well, but let's quick look at Looney. He's on a 4-point streak, 5-1. He's just chilling inside of fire, waiting for these guys to make their way back to him. These guys have a 2 cap, of course. This is the Rise Nation squad who we're watching right now up against Brazil 5 stars for those that are just joining us on the second day. And right now it's a 39 to 20 point game. 20 point difference in between these two teams right now.
Absolutely. Well, we're still on board with Looney now. One of the best SMG shots in the game, especially at long range. So we're just going to keep an eye on that and see how he is pulling this off as he makes the move to C. They are losing the alpha flag, so Looney's kind of just switching the spawns around.
You know, if they were to go for that C flag as well, then the C and B, I would then rotate probably through blue and up through white one player. I think that's what they should do, and they actually might do. Then to rotate it back and around to A once again, because they're losing B here. Seems there's only one player on there, though, on the other side of tracks. He neutralizes it, now getting a 1-1 capture. So this is like sort of allowing the Brazilian 5-star teams to stop the massive lead that Rise is putting up and slow it down a little bit here for a short time.
Well, here we go, still with Looney as he continues to survive, breaches into the top area, just circulating around now, and he's trying to find anybody. Nobody has actually pushed onto that Bravo flag yet, though.
And you'll just see here the scoreline becomes 54 to 32. One player on B. There's a shot from behind. Cocolanda taking out the kill. And now Fears by himself as the rest of the team will respawn on in, of course. But 56 to 35. The 20-point deficit has been there for most of this first half. Of course, it is 2-5 hard, so you have both sides of the spawn that have to play out. And right now, you will see the guys from Rise Nation picking up a few more kills here, but they do only have currently their home flag of C to get points off.
Yeah, and I love actually watching Fears. He plays so slow and steady, but his shot is so precise, and we're going to see this from him now. He does make a push on B, and he's going to be supporting his teammates on this flag.
I like this a lot. They have teammates down there at A neutralizing and capping it, while he pushes in here at B. That should be allowed them to get. Oh, he jumps off, but gets back on time. You have about a 1.3, 1.4 second to jump off a flag and come back on before it actually resets itself again. That way you're not going to have to do it all over from the start. Let's just jump on board with Pac-Man as we do, though. He gets taken out. Curse of the Caster it goes. Here with Fears off this fresh respawn. Changing over, though. Let's jump on board to that Brazil 5-star team. Excellence, I think, or Cocolanda or someone. Lee will do.
Well, we'll do, Lee. I think all the other guys were dropping down like flies, but Lee does the exact same. Here we go with H now. All of the Brazil 5 stars team currently going negative in kill death ratio and trailing by a fairly significant margin, but still putting up a good fight against Rise Nation.
The way I've always seen Domination is you can come back from the 10 to 20 point area. It's sort of very doable. When you start looking about the 30, 40 point area, it's sort of getting harder, and obviously 50, 60, you know, you've really got to dig deep and get like a 3 cap for a while here. But a 2 flag capture for a little while is going to help those Brazil 5 stars. It's going to hold them to be here for a little bit longer. 30 seconds left. They hold on for the rest of the game. It should be about a 15 to 10 point lead by the end of it.
Yep, well, here we go as we go into the dying 25 seconds now. I think Brazil 5 stars know they can't win this side, so they're just going to get their heads into the game when we do flip the spawns over. We are seeing Brazil 5 stars, though, capture Alpha and Bravo, so that is going to narrow that lead by a little bit.
Oh, definitely, and it also helps and boosts their confidence. So maybe Brazil 5 stars, you know, this is more of a warm-up for them as well, because they did get off to a shaky start at the start. You're looking at their KDs, you know, it's not the best of things. But to bring it back there to about a 13-point game right now, I think that's what it'll end up with. So 13-point difference between these two teams at the end of the first half. I think it is fine in the first game of the day. 13 points very doable, especially on a map like Freight, because it's so easy. Once you get the 2 flag capture, even if you're respawning, you can just nade that flag off that respawn.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, it's not too significant. If they can just come out of the blocks very strong, then they can certainly get a great start to this and easily bring that lead back.
Quickly looking at the KD ratios for a few of the players there, obviously it was Rise Nation taking out the higher part of it, with Weez there on 14 and 13 with 2 captures, 13 and 7 for Fears with 2 as well. Looney 14 and 7 with 2 caps, and then Pac-Man 10 and 12 with 1 capture. So a total captures there for 7 up against the opposition team who only had 5.
Yes, and that, it kind of really shows the dominance there in Domination, because sure, slaying's very important. You've got to make the kills to be able to make the captures, but it's an objective game mode. It's not team deathmatch.
Exactly. These guys obviously have another half to play out, though, on that Domination side of thing on Freight, because you do play 2 5-minute halves to complete the whole 10 minutes. These guys will be getting set up. And I really think that I can see Brazil 5 Stars actually taking this out, because towards that last minute and a half, they really picked their game up, and with that 2 flag capture, even though it's just A and B,
they look strong.
It was nice, and they did a nice little flank work as well on the map.
Yeah, they did look really strong, and what I've been very impressed by, because this is the first time I've actually seen Brazil 5 Stars play, is I thought Excellence would be carrying this team, but it's not the case at all. Every single player is pulling the weight.
Oh, definitely. It was a great all-around game. Even though on the scoreboard, as you did see it, it wasn't so much a good KD ratio for pretty much anyone on the Brazil 5 Star squad. There's only one player going up there in the highest, but still, they still managed to hold the captures down, hold the flags down as best they could. And, it does show if you can keep the scoreline very doable, especially 13 points, these guys are still in with a very, very good fighting chance heading into the second half Domination on Freight.
All right, well, we are going to go straight into the second half now. And is there any particular player that you want to be watching from these teams?
I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more from the Brazil 5 Star squad. I think we started off them last time, and we gave a bit of love to that Rise Nation squad. Cocolanda, I like that name. It's something from down in Mexico way sort of thing.
It just kind of rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Cocolanda.
Cocolanda.
Well, here we go. I mean, I think we're going to see a big B push here. I mean, one thing I would say as well, remember, 36 points is what you can capture if you dominate from a minute, but if you're securing a 2 flag capture and the other team has 1 flag, it's 12 points per minute. So, they'll almost be able to bring it back if they can just hold 2 flags for, a minute.
And for those that are wondering, that Rel knows all this stuff because he's got mountains of paperwork and he knows all this stats. That's what he prides himself on. It's a great job. It's a great thing to have to know all this information for you all back at home. Who are new to COD, obviously, not too sure what's going on and how these guys can take it up. Lee, though, trying to get that home flag back to neutral side, but it was a good distraction here for H to jump on B and perhaps even cap it. A few players circling around those shots, going every which way, but they'll manage to take a B, and now it's going to hold these flags down.
Yeah, Lee was actually really unlucky there. He was so close to neutralising it. I think he thought he'd neutralised it and pushed off it, so very, very unfortunate. However, they do have 2 flag control and are bringing this back.
I do want to jump over to Fears from that Rise squad. He's on 5-1 right now, and he is on that 5-point streak, so every single one of those kills came after his first death. That's how you can tell it there, because no caps to his name. We're going to see him picking up the number 6 there while his teammates push on up. They grab the B flag for their own good, and they're going to try and get a lead in this second half and then increase it even more from what they had in that first, the plus 13.
Well, Fears now just line prone, and as we've said before, whilst it's not a slaying game type particularly, it is one where you do need to be making kills to make the captures he tried to get to. He isn't going to be able to make it, but suppressing fire, just holding them back at A.
I see Fears there finally getting taken down. It was on 7-1 there for a little while, though. Pac-Man, that's what he was going to do. And now it's not the Pac-Man from the Penny Arcade games. It is going to be him inside of the Call of Duty side. And with that MTAR really ripping it up.
There we go. And he's leading his team here despite having the least kills. So some great objective work. Unsurprising from Pac-Man. Very selfless objective player. Does just go for the pushes and secure those flags.
You're just seeing them running in through bottom white and just circling back and around here. Obviously, they just did a spawn, a home flag switch between C and A. He's going to push back to C. And, it's always good to try and keep the other team really guessing on where you're going to be. You'll see him push inside of lumber. Oh, I would have, and I probably would have tried to neutralize that C flag. But, again, these guys are the pros. We're the casters. Whatever they're doing, they seem to know best. Few shots going inside of Owens just there, and his teammate clearing up the kill. It was Looney, of course, taking down Excellence.
There we go. Now Pac-Man does make this push on C, and that flag is now being secured. And this is looking great for Rise Nation. He's at least neutralized it. Doesn't manage to get the capture, but they do have 2 flags in control. And as it currently stands, Brazil 5 Stars have nothing.
For those that are wondering, if it goes to the halfway mark of that process, it is a neutral flag. Therefore, no one's going to get points off that. So even if you die, it's still going to stop the enemy team from accumulating any more points. Second half here, 32-47. So it's going to be Rise Nation in the lead once again and increasing it from their plus 13 they had in that first half. But, I still think the Brazil 5 Stars can sort of bring this. They just need to get that 2 flag capture that they had at the start of the second half.
Well, there is definitely time to do this. I mean, they just need to be more aggressive. Weeks we can see doing some nice defensive work around this crates area. He is probably going to make the push. There we go. And he's actually going to now apply pressure around the A flag.
And you'll see he'll go do what Pac-Man did before. They'll push on down to that flag line. They'll try and neutralize it, if not so all the way captured. And you'll see him just dump on and off it. Just sort of like says to the enemy team, hey guys, I'm over here, because as soon as you get onto a flag, the AI voiceover in the game says to you that you are losing your home flag. Fears up in containing yards right now, looking around. There was a player behind him pushing into mid-traction outside the red. One player down here at A as well, back in their spawn building. Pac-Man and Fears going for the pinch. I don't know if they're going to get it though, as Pac-Man will get dropped there by H. Here comes Looney to pick him up, and nice shots going in there. Looney will take out the two-piece though on H and Lee, while these guys just try and wonder what they should do. I think they should go for a cap here at A though.
Well, let's have a look and see what's going on for H now. Push does come around, and H, he has managed to successfully defend A, so A and C are in the control, but I don't know if that's going to be enough.
I don't think they're going to be able to hold it. It's almost a 30-point game here in the second half alone, Rel, and then plus that 13 from the first half. It's 1 minute left, so right now they need a 2-flag and a neutral, or a 3-flag capture right now to really bring this one back for the Rise for the Brazil 5-star team. I think Rise will be taking this one out and making that series 1-0.
Yeah, as time ticks away, it's just looking worse and worse for Brazil 5-stars, but great play from Rise Nation here, taking down the Brazilians. Rise Nation, of course, one of the top American teams in attendance at the Call of Duty Championship presented by Xbox here in LA. Oh, and what a tournament this has been so far.
Oh, it has been indeed. 78 to 61, the scoreline right now. Last 30 seconds of the domination here on Frey. We're on board with H still. He's trying his best to really clean up any extra kills that are lying around. Pac-Man from the other side of things, though, he's on a 3-point streak. Fears was on a 4 a moment ago. He's got taken down as H gets picked up there by Wiz, and it'll be 10 seconds left. That is going to be, of course, Rise taking out game number 1 in this best out of 5 series. It'll be 87. I think it's going to update one more time. No, it's point. 85 to 68.
And it's a very similar scoreline actually to what we saw the first side. A 17-point difference this time. So 81 to 68 on the first half, 85 to 68 on the second half. So fairly consistent.
So a total scoreline there of 166 up against 136.
Yep.
Overall, of course, that is going to be the squad of Rise Nation taking out Brazil 5-stars in game number 1. But still, there's still 2 more games to come, possibly even 4, if Brazil 5-stars can bring it back perhaps here. But we'll have to wait and find out. S&D on Sovereign up next, Thrill.
It is going to be, and that's going to be a great game actually. Search and Destroy, completely different to Domination, and this is really where the Brazil 5-stars can shine and hold their own against such a top team like Rise Nation. Before we go into that game, though, we're going to go to a very quick break. Do not go anywhere, guys.